The obsessive protector archetype, a figure both celebrated and condemned in the romance and thriller genres, embodies a glaring red flag, the transformation of love into a leash of control. This character, often depicted as the hero, justifies invasive and overprotective behaviors as acts of love or protection, blurring the lines between devotion and dominance. At the core, this figure reveals a troubling psychological inclination towards control, masquerading as care, which not only undermines the autonomy of their partner, but also romanticizes a deeply flawed understanding of love. Psychologically, the obsessive protector exhibits traits akin to those found in real-life controlling relationships, where one partner's need to protect becomes a justification for eroding the other's independence. This behavior often stems from deep-seated insecurity and a desire for dominance, cloaked in the language of love and concern. The protector's inability to trust, coupled with a fear of loss, propels them into a cycle of compulsive surveillance and intervention, falsely believing that love is synonymous with possession. This archetype reveals an unsettling confusion between love's genuine expression and the exertion of control, neglecting the critical importance of trust, respect, and freedom in a healthy relationship. For instance, Edward Cullen from Stephen E. Meyer's Twilight series is a classic example of the obsessive protector. His constant monitoring of Bella's movements, even to the extent of watching her sleep without consent, is portrayed as a protective and romantic gesture. However, this behavior starkly illustrates the problem. Edward's actions are invasive, dismissive of Bella's autonomy, and indicative of a controlling personality. Similarly, Christian Grey in E.L. James' 50 Shades of Grey exemplifies this archetype through his need to control every aspect of Anastasia Steele's life, from her diet to her social interactions. These characters, though framed as romantic heroes, exhibit behaviors that in reality would be considered red flags for abusive relationships. Why does this matter? The glorification of the obsessive protector sets a dangerous precedent, blurring the lines between love and control for readers. It suggests that such possessiveness and disregard for personal boundaries are not only acceptable but desirable traits in a partner. This not only distorts young readers' perceptions of healthy relationship dynamics, but also normalizes a power imbalance that echoes the patterns of real-world emotional and psychological abuse. By framing control as care, these narratives undermine the importance of consent, mutual respect, and independence in relationships, potentially influencing readers to overlook or excuse similar red flags in their personal lives. The implications extend beyond the pages of romance and thriller novels, seeping into societal norms and expectations about love and relationships. When the media we consume perpetuates the idea that controlling behavior is a sign of true love, it becomes more challenging to recognize and address these issues in reality. The romanticization of overprotectiveness contributes to the normalization of jealousy and possessiveness, often dismissing them as harmless quirks or worse, as evidence of deep affection, rather than recognizing them for what they are, signs of a potentially unhealthy and abusive dynamic. In conclusion, the obsessive protector trope in romance and thriller narratives is a manifestation of a broader cultural misunderstanding of love, mistaking control for care. This character archetype not only provides a distorted lens through which love is viewed, but also sets a troubling standard for real-world relationships. It's essential to recognize and challenge these portrayals, encouraging a more nuanced and healthy representation of love that values autonomy, mutual respect, and genuine care. As readers and consumers of media, the responsibility falls on us to question, when does protection become possession, and at what point does love lose its meaning in the shadow of control? Character psychology is fascinating, and sometimes our favorite characters exhibit behaviors we'd never tolerate in real life. What do you think about this analysis? Are there other characters with red flags I should cover? Let me know in the comments. Your suggestions help shape future videos.